I'm British and a lord. Girl, I want you to be one.
Digital SLR.
Hey guys, welcome back to WessinTheWorld. Welcome to another installment of the show. So, again, I've underprepared myself, but not putting the mic where it needs to be. This is a very underprepared setup. It's a very, very non-professional organization we got going on over here. I'm not even looking at the camera, I'm looking down. Yeah, so I'll put my Patreon page up now there. Guys, like and subscribe if you do like these videos and you want me to make more of these videos, or you want me to make more musical content. Obviously, just put that feedback through. Yeah, thank you very much for supporting so far. I've got like a few different supporters through various different websites, but I'm going hard with the Patreon because that's the central location for support for artists. And I think if you are an artist and you do want to receive support in order to put more work out, I think it's a perfectly reasonable request that if you like someone's work, you want them to make more so that they can make more, because you pay for stuff exactly the same way. And if the artist is releasing this stuff for free, say like myself, then yeah, then you're sort of just paying them to release content. And you get meditation classes as well. You get 4 meditation classes for tier 2, which is only £10 a month, and you get 8 classes a month if you pay £20 a month, which if you work out is very cheap meditation classes. So it's Zen meditation that I learned from various people whilst living in Spain. Went back to Portugal, and everyone that has studied Buddhism, I would ask them the central pillars, the central principles, and I have actually met a couple of people that had studied Zen Buddhism for longer than 15 years. They had no job and they just seemed to be floating by on, I don't know, just the universe. They were just living for the moment. I'm going to put this on because I think the last video didn't have me very loud. So yeah, I made a short video recently about how people are stories. So people aren't people. Well, they are people, like objectively. If you look at a person, you go, that's a person. But what a person sees when they see a person isn't a person. It's going to sound very weird. They see a story. Their clothing indicates a story. If they have like a certain aesthetic, like they're goths, that's a really easy story to pick out. You can kind of predict what kind of music they like, what kind of life they live, what kind of people they have around them. People are attracted to stories. This is why a lot of people gravitate towards aesthetics, because they know that it's more attractive to have an altogether appearance, not to have 3 different aesthetics going on at once, because that's just going to confuse people. But people that are into novelty, i.e. people like myself, we go for people in terms of their intelligence. But it might be just because I'm 33, but I know that people actually like, they go for people on the basis of what's going on up in here rather than what's going on down here, because that shit falls apart. As we've mentioned, it crumbles like the towers of Babylon. There's only one Tower of Babylon. Damn, I got to read that story. Apparently it's very, very apt example of what's going on right now. The Tower of Babel. I don't know, whatever. Read it, go there, read it. There's encoded messages all over the Bible, and the Bible talks about aesthetics very intrinsically. Like, it's very, very encoded, the messages about the aesthetics and how appearance can be deceiving, and how the snake is going to lead you to the getting knowledge that you don't want to know, and all this sort of stuff. This is, oh man, it's incredible. If you do get a chance, check out Answer to Job, which is a Carl Jung essay written, I can't even remember when was Carl Jung about? Same time as Picasso, I think. Wouldn't it be amazing to be in Vienna at that time when you got Carl Jung, Freud, Picasso, all in one area of town. Can you imagine the conversations that will go on? But yeah, this isn't about pondering. This is about coming to conclusions. What conclusions can we make from this? Because what I realised with this video is that I get to take a question from you guys, and then I just get to just talk about it, and then as I expand on it, I start to learn a little bit more about it and make conclusions live on video. So who would possibly go on to video with nothing to say, with only a question, and then just answer it? It takes a certain kind of narcissist to do that kind of shit. Or I just don't care, because I love you guys and I know that you guys love me, right? Right? But no, I don't live off love. I live off my own love. And sometimes my love does waver, because obviously your life's not bad, but your opinion of it changes over time. Something we don't try to understand. You had the same amount of problems yesterday than you do have today. Why is it today you can't handle those problems? Your mind, man. That's it. Drink some fucking water. Get some fucking sleep. Do the fundamentals. Because you could handle that problem yesterday. Why is it doubled in size today? It's the same problem. But yeah, anyway, I'm not talking about that. Not talking about that. What are we talking about here? Stories. Narrative. People are stories that are attracted to faces. They're not attracted to attraction. They're just attracted to stories. Because, and I don't want to make this like, because obviously people don't do things for a single. Oh, thank God. People don't do things. Oh, sorry, I thought the mic was unconnected, disconnected. But yeah, people don't do things for one reason. It's like I'll go and meet my girlfriend because I don't have a girlfriend. But like, if I said I was going to go and see my girlfriend, it's like 5% sex, like 30% love, 20% comfort. And it's all wrapped up, you know what I mean? You never just go in entirely just to see them, like, you know what I mean? It's like a 50-50 split. You're doing it 50% for yourself, 50% for them, and obviously because both of you give that 50% when you're together, because it's no effort, because you're compatible. Because you're compatible, you're both able to give that 50% to each other. And then that's what sustains the relationship. Jordan Peterson said something very interesting today. He said that a couple that is on the brink of breaking up, they're so tense. Like, they actually did brain scans on people that are in couples whilst they're having conversations, and their brains seem to fluctuate in intensity, intense emotion, when their partners would ask them to do something for them. Oh, look at that duck. Let's go and have a look at that duck. The partner would then do a Freudian slip, which would be simple like that, just a simple sigh. But that would mean not only are you causing me great pain by being into this, by both of us being in this relationship, it's not your fault, but I have deep resentments about you, and you have deep resentments about me. So doing anything for you, in my mind, dismisses everything that I have in terms of, you know, animosity towards what you're making me do in this relationship. You know what I mean? Because we all get to a point where we funnel each other into these expectations, we funnel each other into these definitions of who that other person is. And then, sure enough, humans grow, humans evolve, and we grow out of this expectation. And a good couple can evolve and notice the new things, and then they can take them on, and we can feed them back, and then, you know, they can grow together. And it's not so much you're trying to make your partner into whatever you want them to be. It's more you're trying to integrate the new attributes of your partner into the relationship, and then just trying to identify if that works with your ego. Because the love is two nodes. I've got love here and love here. In the middle, you got these two egos. These two egos are, if they're not compatible, they're gonna constantly be fighting. But the love between the two nodes is always present. But it's whether these fucking fighting egos can get out of the way and obviously reveal the love. But pride, all these things get in the way, and obviously, you know, that's what happens to that. But so yeah, what I would say is that don't be attracted to your partner strictly because their story looks like it's heading for a good one, and you might be able to attach yourself to that story and then ride it all the way to the finish line because you're secretly very stressed that your story is not going to work out. So you're hedging your bets by putting part of your story into your partner. That puts an unhealthy weight of expectations on your partner, and you'll make it out like it's some sort of selfless thing. You're trying to do it for them. You're trying to push them. You're trying to make them get to that next level. No. You're mad that the story that you had planned isn't unraveling in the way that you had hoped it was going to plan. But obviously you hadn't factored in the fact that life doesn't give a fuck about your plan. Life doesn't care about plans. Obviously quarantine, if anyone had plans around now to buy a house, you know what I mean, fucked. You fucked. But not too fucked. Because you are still human with 10 fingers, 2 hands and 2 legs, and you're still going. And the love that you have with the other person is still there. But the problems that the ego has brought up, which is the problem that this isn't panning out the way that you thought, pull the ejector seat, get the fuck out, or get them in line. That's what we got to do. We got to get them in line. Just a bit of CBD, guys. I definitely suggest it. It's really good for exercise. It's really good. It's a muscle relaxant, so it allows you to get those reps that you've been wanting, push to that next level. Just have 2 of those every morning. It's really nice. Yeah, so people aren't attracted to people. In many cases, they're attracted to the story that person represents. I'm a spiritual person. My life is heading towards some sort of spiritual realization. I'm also a musician, so it's headed towards some big performance that the story is heavily weighted on, like regionals or something from Glee, you know. That's the story. But what's the reality of me? I'm sat here making videos. Might play some music, extend myself into that region, become better at that thing. But it's always just me. And when you fall out of love with the person in front of you, become more attached to the story ahead of you, again, your hopes of the future can ruin your present moment because you're not meeting the deadlines that you had set in your mind that you haven't told your partner you had set. But I think at the end of it, you just have to be very, very cautious about what you love about your partner. Because are you really loving them, or are you loving what's so similar between you two? Because you've got to love them. You got to love that they forget things sometimes. You got to love that they, aren't able to work out what you're saying, understand what's being said. You got to love that they fuck up sometimes. Sometimes it's the thing that makes you love them the most is that they're just so all over the place, and that they're getting themselves together and you're there if they need support. But never expect more from your partner than you expect from yourself, because that's just a heavy burden to bear and it's really unfair. So thank you very much for joining me. This has been People as Stories, and yeah, stay blessed, don't stress. You never know what's next, and it's exciting. So let's get it.